And that's what I'm thinking. This is the new Hasanabi content. Type tech support for the future. Yeah. What are you trying to do? What I'm trying to do is multicast to both YouTube and also to Twitch at the same time.
Okay. All right, well, we'll do the it's not serious. I guess it was 6 months ago. I just saw it recently. Okay. 30 point 50. If you ever see anything like that. Oh, okay. All right. Wait, what was that user?
Plugin, you can have 2 different sets of scenes and canvases that you can stream to different platforms.
Hold on, let me get it quickly.
I don't know if I want to do plugins. We'll see. Would you have time to run a practice stream? Bytes, not bits. 8 bits in a byte. What?
Anyway.
Was that a JoJo reference? No, it's actually a One Piece reference, but it's a JoJo reference too. Oh, also, I'll say this much. Sanji's family, assassin family, what is it? Germa66. They're literally JoJo coded. They're so
We're gonna do
JoJo
that
coded.
weekly, just once. And then we're gonna do a weird pack. You can get in now.
Switches out of a router will raise your upload speed.
But yeah, like if you ever get anything weird like that,
Bro, you have a 4090.
good to just let me know.
You need a supercomputer, you just need a good internet connection. I agree.
I'll always send that information over. All right. Hassan's moderators are some of the most protective and they're very thorough. Like if a certain chatter is getting targeted or anything like that, anything like that, important to send because it's likely that's happening more often, more across the community. And it's just a way of providing some sort of protection for you and other chatters, you know?
That I already have on my OBS, which I like, right? And then run a second instance of OBS.
I would say Astro Brains, like just playing it is the best, but when you're playing it like this, you're not going to have as much time. But that will force you into like learning it. Yeah. But this has a time limit, but the arena mode, no time limit.
Instance of OBS before trying to run a new instance. If you have OBS set to minimize to the system tray, please check to see if it's still running there. I say launch anyway. Oh damn! And then I go to settings, and I can change the service from Twitch to YouTube RTMPS, primary YouTube ingest server, and then I connect the account. Oh man, that's sick. As someone who's done this second OBS instance, you may need another capture card though. Split the camera and go. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, you're right. The cam doesn't work though.
All right, no problem.
The camera doesn't
50.
work unless I also wire it through virtual camera, which is pretty funny. Let's see if I can virtual camera it from the first virtual camera. Start the virtual camera and see if I can substitute it on the second one.
Oh my god, let's see if Hassan is going live on YouTube.
OBS virtual camera. Oh my god, it worked. It worked. It's doubling up on the image though, which is crazy. Like there are that wouldn't.
The last time Hassan went live on YouTube was 5 years ago. Sorry.
Hardwired second camera because see, here's the problem with virtual camera. Are you ready for this? This is my second instance, right? Boom. Like my second instance actually when I'm on, like that's the problem with virtual camera. So that I can't do virtual camera. I do have another camera though. Check the virtual camera output. You can choose what to show. No, you can't. It's not even a crop situation. I would just use the Kaya cam, I think. Select the source as being the camera instead of the whole scene.
No, he's not live on YouTube. No, he'd have to get the stream key for
Wait,
YouTube
you can
and
do
everything.
That on virtual camera. Output type program default.
All right, get in for SAP, by the way.
Output selection 4K. Wait.
No, you don't want to be streaming in 4K.
No, it's not working. It's still messed up. How do I do that? How do I get the OBS virtual cam to just take the camera? Output type, output selection, 4K? No. Oh, wait. It's not on that front. It's on this front. Program default preview scene source.
Chat. We are watching live.
Okay, stop virtual camera.
A poly-sci major.
And output type is source. Output selection.
Navigate the world of
just the camera, right?
Understanding that you got a different instance of OBS.
Start
open.
Camera. No.
So.
Oh wait, it worked. I think. Hold up. It worked. Let's go, chatters. You cooked it. You cooked it good. Dude, look. See? Now I go back to the desktop and blammo is just taking it straight from the source. Boom. We could possibly do this. Now, the real issue is trying to figure out how I would even begin to find my RTMP, like, that's how I stream to TikTok and Twitch, my guy. Hell yeah, brother. Hunter Biden just walked out on Congress as MTG started to speak. Your take? All the conservative outlets are blowing it up. We'll cover it in a second. We're TikTok multi-streamers, live streamers here, son. Get your knowledge up. Dude, I'm about to get my money up and not my funny up. You know what I'm saying? Like, no more funny, just money. Is literally on your YouTube. You just have to start a live stream on YouTube.
My word.
Chatters know a little something about how to stream. Chatters know a little something about how to stream more than me. You need to create a stream in our YouTube Creator Studio, and then there you will have the RTMP code. Oh, that's how it works? Man, YouTube streaming is, like, not very good.
Anyone else for sub?
When did you get clapped by copyright on YouTube? So here's how it works. Okay, chatters? How it works is this. YouTube also has, Twitch is a really good live streaming platform. I mean, which, you know, of course, we're going to be talking about the layoffs and stuff. But I do think that I do think that Twitch is a really good live streaming platform in comparison to all the other platforms out there. Straight up, I will say it. Now, on the technical front, it's better. On the community side, it's infinitely better, obviously. But simulcasting is not allowed in Twitch TOS. No, it is. It's not only allowed, but encouraged. Okay, so here's what's going on. So on YouTube, however, YouTube already has a built-in mechanism, right? YouTube already has a built-in mechanism for
Hold on.
DMCA.
2 slots.
This is the last thing I want to talk about. We've talked way too much
WhatsApp
shop for no particular reason right now. YouTube has a built-in mechanism for copyright, which means that it's usually very restrictive, not great, right? However, one benefit to that is that they also have much better protections for copyright when it comes down to news commentary, okay? They have a system to detect copyright, and there's a lot of, like, automation in that, on that front, automation in that process. However, they also, for news and politics, they still have a They have a better protection for news and politics because they have a better standard for what falls under fair use. Because I'm doing ceaseless commentary, on the debates in that situation, and it's not like a manual review process, there is not as strict a protocol. Like on Twitch, if you're live reacting to something and it's a violation of copyright, you get taken out, oftentimes for 48 hours. And I don't want to be banned for 48 hours for live reacting to a debate.
All right,
I just wanted to mention that most part of the clip channels have never reported to me about getting strikes for misinfo. Generally, it's fake strikes or demonetized for reused content. Any clip channels that get strikes for terms of service can contact me. The VOD channels is a method of how to deal with those strikes, says Littlebear36.
All these motherfuckers saying who? Sorry, I just needed to type that.
You have moderation or moderation boss in YouTube chat, or else you need to disable YouTube chat? Yeah, I might have to disable YouTube chat this time around. Okay, but what is the new hair regiment? There's nothing.
Anyway. Wait, hold on. Let me quickly send this quickly.
So, does your contract allow it?
Come on, Bobby,
as far as I
let's
understand,
go,
this would be like an additional allowance. Multi-streaming was not allowed, but I do think that this is like, for me at least.
Sorry, okay. Done. All right. Throw back to I just said, since, okay.
Hold on.
Come on,
Sorry.
Bobby, let's go party.
Yeah. Oh,
What is
okay.
life
We're
like
getting
on Bitch
follows.
Island? I don't know. Ask your mom.
We're getting follows. I don't know
Come
why.
on, Bobby, let's go party.
Yeah. Hold on, sorry. I'm just organizing something.
All right.
Oh, Hassan mentioned you? Yeah,
No
yeah, but
Finn?
Hassan has mentioned me before.
I do take finasteride and
Normally,
and,
I don't get follows from it.
Whatever, like Rogan and
Oh, yeah, you said your name. Okay, all right.
The generic finasteride.
All right, sorry. I'm just dealing with some clips.
If they let you do
industrial
it, you'll do 10
complex
minutes
stuff.
of ads every 11 minutes.
Okay, all right.
No.
We're gonna do some sap.
All right.
Life like on Bitch
I don't
Island.
know why
I don't
you're
know,
not
ask
even
your
bald.
mom.
Thank you. That's the point. Because I
Let's
take
go. I've
supplements
started.
for it. Minoxidil and finasteride is what I take. How many milligrams?
The Mift.
I don't have like a full blown. I
Mift
just
jacket.
break off the pill in half.
What exactly is Hassan talking about? About learning how
Do you
to
feel like it
stream
helped? I mean,
on
I think it
YouTube and
stopped.
Twitch at the same time.
I think it stopped the balding. That's what I think. Wait, did I blast off? Oh, I did. Okay. All right, let's get started. I forgot that I already blasted off. Hassan, do you date? Yes, your mom. Have you ever seen that guy on TikTok who was basically bald and did self-care and grew so much hair? No. I don't use a derma roller. Live updates. Oh my God, breaking news. Judge denies Trump's request to speak at his... Oh, this is not breaking news. This is old news. Sorry. Wait, what? No, this is... What? Judge denies Trump request to speak at his civil fraud trial hours before his Fox News town hall? No, oh, it is not breaking news. It is the old news. Okay. So Trump had a gag order on a civil fraud trial in New York, as you guys know, because, you know, he was being Trump. And when you're being Trump, you sometimes are being too much Trump, and you're trumping out of turn. And when you trump out of turn, you end up, I don't know, causing the judge to get death threats. And that's kind of a faux pas, I would say. So the judge hit him with a gag order, right? Which is, of course, in my opinion, the worst thing you could do to Donald Trump. Unconstitutional, sir. How dare you? How dare you? Okay? but it's still pretty funny. It's especially funny because tonight you have a Fox News town hall with Donald Trump, a counter-programming against the Little Rhonda, Nikki Haley
Bobby, let's go
CNN
party.
debate. This is a jam-packed slammo night of political content. Campaign mania is back, folks. We are so back, and we are so in business. We got Chabad tunnels to start off the year. We got a white dude stuck in a vase doing Getting Over It in real life, and campaign mania is back and in action in a big way. Okay? But before we do that, let's talk about Twitch news. Okay? Talk about Twitch news for a brief moment.
Sorry,
Because
I'm just
while that is
busy
happening,
trying to sort some things out.
Amazon
Anyway,
has taken yet another action against Twitch, which it sees as his ugly stepchild, in my opinion. Amazon to eliminate hundreds of roles across Twitch, Prime Video, and MGM Studios. Now, of course, what ended up happening is yesterday, a lot of Twitch staff found out that due to a Bloomberg News article that they might get laid off. And as far as I understand it internally, they were like, maybe, yes, no, I don't know. I mean, there was not great. It was a little bit of a mishandling, in my opinion, from corporate Twitch, but that's always the case. Usually that's how corporations operate. And this comes after, obviously, 400 staffers being laid off, and also Twitch Korea division completely shutting down because it was, according to the words of CEO Daniel Jebediah Clancy, a very...
all right.
I mean, it was prohibitively expensive. That's the words he used, which is a separate thing, right? It doesn't seem great that you're shutting off an entire branch and shuttering your entire operations in a country, right? Doesn't seem great, but there are obviously different reasons for why that was happening. We covered that at the time. It is one of the reasons is of course Korea's like incredibly restrictive.
It was actually the Korean government's fault.
Laws around how much ISPs can charge you specifically. Right. The Korean thing was a specific reason. The Korean internet law that favors native streaming services and native internet service, like internet content creating platforms over non-native ones. It makes it really expensive and not worth it. Obviously, for Amazon, there is a cost to Twitch. I don't believe that they do market rate pricing for the server hosting, which is the most expensive part of live streaming, for those of you who don't know. But I assume that internally they calculate it in a way where they look at the numbers and they say, this is not a profitable business, of course, but I'm assuming it has some tax benefits. And also on top of that, there is probably a long-term goal, live streaming being a profoundly important kind of content creation. Amazon probably wanted to get ahead of it and become the monopoly of live streaming, which it did. Amazon still to this day has a majority, overwhelming majority of the share of clicks when it comes to online live streaming, specifically in the gaming space. Okay? So, let's watch.
So Amazon is laying off hundreds of workers. This is across Prime Video and its MGM Studios divisions, as well as Twitch. Memos were sent to staffers this morning and obtained by CNBC.com. Our Annie Palmer there. An Amazon spokesperson did confirm those layoffs. The head of Prime and Prime Video and MGM saying in that memo that the company is making some of the cuts to prioritize investments for the long term and the success of the business. The memo goes on to say that they are looking to reduce investments in certain areas and then focus on more high-impact areas. Not just Prime Video, though, also 500 Twitch employees. Another memo obtained by CNBC this morning. Executives saying that we have to work to do and right-size our company. They say they regret that they need to share this news. It's a painful step, of course, and they're reducing headcount by just over 500 people across Twitch as well. Guys, this adds to years of layoffs For Amazon, starting at the end of
I'm glad it's
2022,
comfy.
Amazon had its biggest round of layoffs, about 27,000 people across almost every part of that business. And that company shares slightly higher this morning. You can see layoffs are often seen as a way to increase some of that operating leverage and efficiency. Guys, back to you.
Boeing.
All right, so before we get to the Boeing story, which I have some interesting pieces on, Dan Clancy also had a take on it. Where is it? Does anyone have that? Does anyone have the Dan Clancy statement on the layoffs, talking about how this is, Twitch grew with projections, and we grew the company to what we thought it would be at in the next 2 years, 3 years, and not where it's at right now, something along those lines. And here it is. To the Twitch community, I wanted to send a short note to let you know that we've made the difficult decision to reduce the size of our workforce today. At this point in time, we are focused on communicating with our employees and providing them with clarity on how this impacts each of them. We greatly value the employees we're saying goodbye to today as people and professionals, and are grateful for all their efforts to support all of you. I'm sharing a copy of the email that I sent out to the company this morning to provide more context on the decision. Please know that Twitch remains focused on serving our streamers and ensuring that this is the best place to live stream for many to come. I know that you will have additional questions about how this might impact the community, and I'll host a stream on Twitch on Thursday, January 11th at 1 p.m. Pacific time to speak with all of you. Okay? I found an article from January 2020 which says Twitch headcount at the time was like 1,500 globally. 500 being 35% of the current staffers means they're now going to be at about 1,000, if my math is correct, literally smaller than they were in 2020.
It's so sad.
This isn't what I'm looking for. Oh, team. The team side is what I'm talking about. Here. Team. Did I have some incredibly difficult news to share? As you all know, we have worked hard over the last year to run our business as sustainably as possible. Unfortunately, we still have work
No
to
problem,
do
sister. Green card,
to
RCM.
right-size our company. That is such a Silicon Valley. That is so tech speak right there. To right-size, not downsize, right-size our company. And I regret having to share that we are taking the painful step to reduce our headcount by just over 500 people across Twitch. This will be a very hard day. Our service exists to empower communities to create together, and every single one of you has played a vital role in fostering our community and furthering that mission. The problem with a situation like this, okay, is that Dan Clancy is the CEO. But Dan Clancy is not the CEO of a company that is completely independent and can go out and take out additional loans in and of itself and continue keeping the company afloat as it tries to, I guess, find new revenue maxing strategies. Okay? He is the CEO of a company that is underneath another company that is, of course, Amazon. When Daddy Amazon, and I've said this so many times, Daddy Amazon says Twitch is not profitable, that's accounting, okay? When Daddy Amazon says, oh, Twitch is blowing up, you can hire now, and Twitch ends up hiring a bunch of people, okay? Then that's how it goes. And this isn't just Twitch. This is across the Amazon video sector. Amazon to lay off several hundred staff in Prime Video Studios. Don't be defending Dan's dumbass. If you think that this is a defense of Dan and not simply what's what, and I have unconditionally talked about this and have gotten yelled at non-stop about this particular thing over and over again, okay, because it's just the truth. I don't know what to tell you. You're describing the entire tech sector, not just Amazon? Yeah, this is not me defending Dan. This is me explaining to you the truth. If you recall, a while ago when Kick first came out to the market, a lot of people said, Hassan, you don't know what you're talking about. Amazon doesn't profit from Kick, or Twitch doesn't profit directly from Kick. And I told you guys at the time a couple different things. Amazon runs AWS. It is the most costly part of Twitch's runway, okay? Twitch as a live streaming platform, just like Microsoft tried to do a live streaming platform and failed, Mixer, has costs, Okay?
Yeah, people think
The
explaining
most
something is
significant
agreeing with it. Yeah.
cost of Twitch is live web hosting. This is a profoundly costly endeavor regardless. There is like a built-in cost to it. Okay? No matter what happens. Now that cost of keeping the servers alive is, of course, that cost of keeping the servers alive and making sure that they don't like catch on fire like they have in the past, and ensuring that still works on the back end. All of that is very expensive. Okay, it is. That is probably one of the most expensive parts of live web or any kind of live streaming platform. Okay, now having said all of that, of course, Amazon already has all of that, right? Amazon already, this is their main bread and butter. Amazon makes a lot of money off of AWS, their web service, okay? Half of the internet runs on AWS. The other half runs on Microsoft's web service and Google as well. But I believe Microsoft is the second biggest, right? And AWS, Azure is the second biggest. AWS is the biggest. Azure.
I'll tell you why, Sakrigo. Because I am one of those people that didn't think the tech industry would hire more people to the extent that Twitch did, given the growth they got during the pandemic. I did not think they hired that amount of people. I want to see, like, when those people were hired. Like, was it all just because of the pandemic growth? That's what I am interested to know. I just don't know how it works in that industry.
You are no longer technically paying for web service. Twitch would be the most profitable company on the planet. Okay? Maybe not on the planet, but one of them. It would certainly be the most profitable live streaming software, live streaming service out there. Now,
yeah.
This is why I say it's all a matter of internal accounting. Depending on how much Amazon, the main company, decides Twitch costs them, okay, they decide whether Twitch is profitable or not. Kick, on the other hand, does not have the same exact approach to it because Kick is using AWS to even have a website. Okay? You've been saying this ever since Congress asked Bezos about Twitch and he had zero clue what it was. Yes, and I was very happy back then. And and the reason for why I did not want Jeff Bezos to know what Twitch is because I don't want him to look into it and then find out that it's like,
it gets so much better because no ads. Yeah, but the reason why there are no ads is
exactly
because like the entire no, it's not better. Dip. Kick is funded by gamblers and gambling companies. It's not better.
So yes. So internally, there's two different kinds of accounting, right? So you have the I guess opportunity cost of like Amazon's limited web hosting service
better for you.
And how much bandwidth they're giving to Twitch versus whether or not they sold it to an outside company, that web service. Okay? So that would be probably judged on market rates. Okay? So there's an
if
internal
you don't gamble,
cost,
is it better?
like an actual cost of running this service.
No, it literally is like
whatever it is.
The entire company is funded by people having their money taken from them through addiction. It's disgusting.
Versus the actual cost of it when judged as though Twitch is an outside entity coming to Amazon to purchase AWS. There's a second part of this, though. The second part of this is, of course, the white glove production back-end service that Twitch also, or Amazon also sells. Some of those are Twitch staffers, okay? Some of those people that are working on, for example, when Kick purchased AWS, there's a second part of AWS called IVS, okay? IVS is the bones, the skeleton of a live streaming service. Some of those guys that work at Twitch directly work on IVS. So technically, Amazon is making money off of selling basically the skeleton of Twitch to other companies as well. Okay? It's like a white label. It's a white label product.
No, it is. It's literally like Twitch offers that service.
Okay? How do you know all this shit? What do you mean? This is like all readily available things that you can find out on your own. IVS is the technology that Amazon bought Twitch to integrate into AWS as a service. Yes. So, having said that, it's another way that Twitch makes money. It's another way that Twitch makes money for Amazon. Twitch also, as a, I guess, separate entity under the Amazon umbrella, generates revenue for Amazon by obviously giving a subscription percentage from every subscriber that subscribes at the top of the hour to my channel, for example, to avoid the ads at the top of the hour, the 3-minute ad break. They take a percentage of that, right? Another way that Twitch makes money or for Amazon, generates revenue for Amazon, is when a streamer like myself runs ads at the top of the hour. They take a percentage of that too. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free, right? That's how it works. Then there's obviously like other contracts and things of that nature. I'm sure like there's sponsorship deals across the board on the platform, yada, yada, yada. 34MKD50, thank you for the 50 gifted subs.
Well,
I was just giving an example. Here's the 3-minute ad break now, by the way. It seems really easy for them to just adjust to make zero profit on paper just like the rest of Amazon. Of course.
In 2020, Twitch's viewership was up 67.36%, increasing from 11 million hours in 2019, 18.4 billion hours in 2020. That increase is partly because streamers broadcasted 76.2% more hours on the platform, climbing 431 million hours in the fourth quarter of 2019, more than 79 million hours in the fourth quarter of 2020. Oh my goodness.
The same principle behind Amazon having its own delivery service. Okay? That's it. That's how this works. Plus, Twitch can act as a marketing platform for Amazon. It adds an additional benefit to subscribing to Amazon Prime. Yes, but I don't think there's a big enough ask. Like,
I don't think it's deceptive.
Prime works in the opposite direction. Prime makes Twitch a better platform for content creators because it offers a tremendous amount of
14-hour
revenue,
streams during the pandemic.
right? Rather than vice versa, where people are getting Amazon Prime because they want to get a Twitch Prime as a consequence. Like, I don't think it works that way.
But
transfer pricing within a company is not just something you can just arbitrarily set for subsidiaries, though a consistent arm's length approach is generally required by regulators. I laugh at the notion that there is like some serious regulatory oversight here, but you're right. On paper, there is, of course, some level of regulatory oversight. You're right. It's just. Is there enforcement of such regulatory oversight? I do not know.
No worries, Lily.
There is some supposedly regulatory oversight coming to Amazon, specifically as it pertains to its monopolies from the likes of Lena Khan. When you say U.S. regulators, there are some U.S. regulators that are currently working specifically on Amazon. Perhaps that is one of the reasons as to why they are doing more internal accounting to ensure that there is that they're making all of their video divisions more profitable on paper. Okay. I did this for a software company in Canada. It's essentially a facade law. Regulators work with the entity to make it work, so it's fine and dandy for public scrutiny. Yeah.
Someone burnt noodles in the microwave. Let's see how many startups this layoffs create. I don't think so. These are like devs and stuff.
So, So maybe Amazon is just reporting that Twitch is losing money to meet regulatory appearances, but in reality, it does make money hand over fist because I pay myself. Isn't getting anyone into debt.
Sure. Jix.
So let's
CX.
get back to the Dan Clancy.
Stay cool.
Now that I described this, let's get back to the Dan Clancy statement. I know many of you are wondering why this is happening. Over the last year, we've been working to build a more sustainable business so that Twitch will be here for the long run. And throughout the year, we have cut costs and made many decisions to be more efficient. Unfortunately, despite these efforts, it has become clear that our organization is still meaningfully larger than it needs to be given the size of our business. Last year, we paid out over $1 billion to streamers. So while the Twitch business remains strong, for some time now, the organization has been sized based upon where we optimistically expect our business to be in 3 or more years, not where we're at today. As with many other companies in the tech space, we are now sizing our organization based upon the current scale of our business and conservative predictions of how we expect to grow in the future. This decision, while incredibly difficult and painful, is necessary to ensure that we can continue to serve our streamers sustainably without impacting their ability to support their careers on Twitch. Part of what makes this so difficult is the passion that so many of you share for the Twitch community and the hard work you've put into serving our streamers. I know you are all wondering what this decision means for you and your role moving forward. While we know it is better to hear about the impact face to face, we realize that it is more important to share the news with the affected individuals as quickly as possible. With that in mind, here's what you can expect within the next hour. If your role is affected by this decision, if you live in the US, Canada, Brazil, Mexico, or Singapore, in the next few minutes, I will send an email to this group of people sharing the unfortunate news that your position is being eliminated. Okay, well, that's crazy. Afterwards, being eliminated. Unfortunate news that your position is being eliminated. Important details on everything we're doing to support you through this transition. Afterward, your org leader will reach out directly via email with more specific information about your severance package and to give you the option to speak with them individually. These one-to-one meetings will take place over the next few days. If your role is affected by this decision and you're in any country not listed above, in the next few minutes, you will receive an email from Lauren Nunez with more specific information on the process and the next steps, which vary by country. For everyone who's leaving Twitch today, I know how important it is to say goodbye to your colleagues, so you will retain access to Slack and your email until 1 p.m. Pacific. If you are in Singapore, you will have access until 12 p.m. local time. Jesus. If your role is not affected, I will send another email to this group confirming your role was not affected by this decision. Afterwards, I plan to host regional all-hands throughout the day so you can hear from me directly. Details on the time of these sessions and calendar invites will come through later this morning. I also want to acknowledge how disappointed I was yesterday that this information leaked. I'm sorry for all the anxiety that it caused over the last several hours. Our hope was that you all would hear this from us this morning and very quickly understand how this impacted your role, and we were unfortunately not able to accelerate the timeline, which I know is very frustrating. I want to close with my sincerest apologies to everyone who is leaving Twitch. You are some of the most talented, committed, and creative people I've ever worked with. Thank you for everything you've done to help us build Twitch and foster our community. We are all here because we believe in the power of Twitch and our community, and while our mission is far from over, right now our focus is on taking care of each other. I'm always grateful for how well you all support and show up for one another during our best and most difficult moments. Dan. So talented, but not enough to pay you, though. My company cut off access while people were in the call finding out they were laid off. So at least they did that. Interestingly, apparently they didn't do due diligence with advanced public notice of mass layoffs, and people will still be on payroll for 2 months, or Twitch broke the law. Wasn't this on the Warren report? Aren't those supposed to be heads up for incoming layoffs? Technically, they will keep everyone to be laid off on payroll for 2 more months to comply with Warren. Does that mean in 2 months we see Twitch or Amazon with layoffs dated around this time? The way these are presented online has made me think they're a heads up for people getting laid off. Is this not true? I mean, I'm sure that it's like probably packaged as their severance, right? Yeah, that's usually how it works. Like you get put on payroll. They're like the most layoffs are always awful. The most, I guess, like the best, most ethical type of layoff that you can engage in is the voluntary severance package layoffs, but that's obviously very costly to the company. So most people don't want to do that, where they will see areas that they need to significantly downsize in, and they will go to all of the workers in said areas and say, hey, if you leave now, we'll pay basically 6 months of your, depending on what the severance package looks like. They make this internal calculation. 2 months is usual, but in the most ethical layoffs that happen, and I have friends that have literally gone through this in the tech sector, where they will go up to you and they say, hey, there's going to be downsizing occurring here, and we want to give you the option to voluntarily leave now. And if you voluntarily leave now, we will pay you. We'll pay you like 3 months, 4 months, or maybe even up to 6 months of compensation, like as though you have a job here for 6 additional months, right? You stay on payroll for 60 days, and if you don't got a job, you get a severance at that point. You are still a non-functioning employee to go with the WARN Act. Etsy's layoffs are really generous when compared to other layoffs. So were Spotify's? Yes. The WARN Act federally requires 2 months, some states 3 months. That is very rare in the industry. Yes. It depends on which company is doing this. I'm not going to reveal it, but it was a very big ISP. Jesus, there's not that many of them out there, but that's what has happened to some of my friends before. So yeah. I know this is slightly off topic. Being a college student and seeing all these layoffs makes me incredibly nihilistic for my own future. I mean, yeah, welcome to the world of graduating out of college post 2008. Let's be real. Let's be really real, okay? I graduated college in 2013. This was like, this has been, there was like a brief moment of like, I guess, normalcy in between that time frame. But when I first graduated, it was like,
oh no,
the situation was dire.
Well done.
Okay. I graduated from college in 2013. The economy had not recovered to,
You did, Rick.
The economy and the job market was not looking that great.
Okay. Do you guys want me to make a random...
when I graduated.
Do you guys want me to make a random pack, or do you want to play any of the other packs? Or we could play the chat votes pack. We can go with chat votes. It's pretty fun. It's basically like SAP Christmas.
I don't know where you learned how to do math, but no, I'm 32, about to be 33. Offering the choices to leave is pretty common in B2B enterprise software companies. In my experience, a guy I know just takes everyone he can and gets paid double for 6 months at a time. Yeah. In my opinion, a lot of these layoffs are follow the leader companies see others doing layoffs and they think they have to. The phrase, as with other tech companies, suggests that has to be the case here. You know, there was a point in time when I used to look at something like this and go, that's crazy. You're out of your mind. And then I found out that that is actually unironically precisely what happens. That is not even a joke. Especially when it's a company as large as Amazon. And yes, on the tech side, in many circumstances, that is precisely what's going on. It's not even a joke. Monkey see, monkey do is a matter of scholarly work in this field. We've read the research from that one Stanford professor who basically spent his entire career talking about the layoff meta in Silicon Valley. Like, tech layoffs oftentimes work on that principle. You would think that it's not the case, or you could technically say, well, there is a lot of bullshit jobs in the tech sector. That much is true. However, having said that, most white-collar jobs are bullshit. That is just the reality. Layoffs are the quickest way to boost profitability. If your competitor boosts profits, you have to do the same to keep up. Yeah. And I've talked about this more broadly. The entire purpose of downsizing is called, in corporate speak, it's called the reduction or elimination of redundancy, or the improvement of
Camcarducian,
it's all done at the
you're
behest of maxing out
you were the one.
profits.
Wait, which
You
song
got
did you make?
7 people doing a job. You reduce the workforce down to 3 people, and you make the 3 people that are remaining
The
do
Has
job of
Pilled
the
song?
7 people that
It was
left.
really good.
And you can get away with doing that.
Do you ever want to well, not to blow my own trumpet, but if you, I can sort of sing, so if you'd ever want to do anything and you'd need like any of that, let me know. I'd be willing to, you know, help you with any sort of projects in that sort of way. Also, if you need any editing. Who was in chat that made his Azan AI edits? Wouldn't that be? I mean, Old Lobster did.
3 hours of work maximum.
You mean
on
you
a
mean
really
the
busy day.
sound ones?
The rest of the time, you're just dicking around. You're out of your mind, man.
Just making him sing songs. I think this would be great.
We're talking most white collar
GTI.
work,
Oh, it was GTI
okay?
Chatter.
Now,
Yes, yes.
having said
GTI
that-
Chatter. Yeah.
Having said that, that's perfectly valid. Okay.
Oh, you did another one.
That's perfectly
Let
valid.
me accept on. By the way, Camcarducian, I'm a moderator on OK Buddy, but I'm also
For me to be available during
I'm
those
also
times, pretty much,
unethical.
yes.
If you want me to accept
love
your
when
OK
people say
Buddy
you're out of
posts
your
immediately,
mind.
just come into my chat.
Well,
That's
they're
fine.
Probably
Let me check that
watching
you
me,
posted.
cleaning their house, but technically they're on billable hours. Okay.
I might as well
If they
check all the
work from
posts
home.
now.
Or they got me in one ear, okay, at the place of work. They're listening, so they can't technically watch, right? While simultaneously, they had the Excel spreadsheet up every single time the manager walks by.
Okay, well, we have to watch it now, because I have to check it for TOS. Hopefully there's no TOS. Full video and comments. Have a look. It got to him somehow and he played in his intro?
Are you winning, son?
Bro, that's insane. Because I didn't add it to the playlist, so yeah, someone must... I don't know how he found it then. Because I normally... there's a playlist of Hasnabi head intros and anthems that I add to, and Hassan looks at that. And when I add something new, it comes to the top, and normally, like, he finds it. Okay, amazing. Someone must have linked it in the... That's great.
Come on, let me teach you one. Scoot on over in your chair and toss me back that plastic gun. Who is this Hasanabi? Talking tough, is this his hobby? Politics? And that's a shame. You're only here to watch him game? I think you took the bait and this is all in bad faith. Log off before it's too late. You should have stuck with Andrew Tate. This guy ain't a leftist. He's got money. He gets pussy.
This is also like such an old OK Buddy meme. Like, I want to know, Carducian, have you, like, this like, are you winning, son? Is such an old meme, like, in general, I guess, yeah.
Look at him. He's really cooking. Wait a second. What's a cussy?
In the animated Pixar movie, Cars, if there are female cars and male cars, I'm gaining with T-Pain.
Hasanabi streams. Subs with the prime. The whole chat was posting high. Himbo subversive, patriotic, sharp and vitriolic. Absolutely.
Oh my god, this is so good. The video editing is also, this is so funny.
It's 12 o'clock, I'm subscribed to bypass the ads. Top of the hour is approaching and I want none of that. Lashed out and fought the parasocials, only trying to help, but in the process realized I'm
Bro, that is like such an old meme. Oh, no, you switched it around with Hassan. Okay, I see. But this like meme, it used to be like this was Hassan, Ludwig sleeping here, and like being cancelled for earning money on Twitch. Back when like the Twitch files were leaked, the Papega papers. But yeah, it is a common meme format.
To help, but in the process realize I'm parasocial myself.
Megaphonics memes.
We log in, then shout into the void, joining into the hymn of the oppressed. The powerless can't afford to disengage, a luxury that many don't possess. And I like to believe that we're all just part of a community. Yes, I like to believe that we're all just part of a community. Yes, I like to believe that we're all just part of a community. And I like to believe
Cause posting has time.
it's
Time to go. It's so good.
Yes, I like to believe we're a community. We're a community. Hustle. We're all just part of this community. Hustle.
Also, if you need any clips at all, you come to me, okay? You know what is so funny about like this picture here? Is I spoke to the VOD's channel about this, like, where can I find the original of this? And he was like, I've got no idea. And then I went into Hassan's offline chat, and I was like, does anybody know like when this happened? And no one knew. And also everyone was like, why are you asking to see Hassan in a cat costume? And then I found it, dude. I found it and I made a meme video about it. I found it. Also, what's so sad about this day, when he was wearing like these cat ears, like it is one of those, like, if we were to ever, and the VOD actually is recovered, it just needs to be uploaded. If we were to like ever find it, it's so fucking depressing. Hassan, like, it's deep in the pandemic. Fish has died, like, recently. If Bernie wins in New Hampshire, Hassan said he'd wear these ears. And all you see is, like, it's just Hassan watching, like, the Bernie rallies, playing, like, which side are you on? Which side are you on? And it's so fucking sad. Because you're looking at it from the past, knowing that Bernie lost. Like, yeah. And also, like, it was like, I feel like he bought this, is this the weight vest or the press vest? But he bought a press vest. Maybe it was early in the pandemic. I need to look at the date again. No, it was later. But by the way, he bought like a whole press vest to like go on the Bernie campaign. Like this was before this happened. And like then the pandemic hit, you know? But no, that's a play carry. He also bought a press vest. Oh my god, Kaya. That's great. That's amazing, dude. I added it to the playlist so it's there. There we go. Hasnabi head anthems. Alright. Yeah, chat it in the chat. Kamkar Dutsian. Okay, we're gonna do SAP. I don't know how many more rounds. But get in. We're doing the chat votes. It's like all of the things you guys wanted and voted on.
On the one hand, you have the left saying we need like public works.
We're going to start in like the next minute.
Money being given to consumers to stimulate the economy.
Some chatters are the people that aren't trustworthy, and so everyone keeps up the facade around them as well as the bosses. Yeah. Maybe.
On the right, they're saying give money to capitalists and they'll hire people. But the one thing left and right totally agree on is the solution to all problems is more jobs. But they never say jobs that actually do something. You know, jobs that are worthwhile in any way. It's just assumed that if jobs are created, they will necessarily serve a purpose. And if you don't specify that, if you don't have self.
Do you think calling them bullshit jobs helps with that? Because most right-wingers would agree that they're bullshit and use that as an excuse to lay people off. Yeah, most right-wingers that say that are themselves
All right,
also
we're gonna
working
start with
in bullshit
Zap.
jobs, though. That's the point. What are some examples of these jobs? Most white-collar work revolves around this. Like a mediator that's supposed to take away some of the bandwidth away from another mediator, from another mediator.
Hold on,
It's busy work.
Here's the video, Lily, so you can get the YouTube channel.
We have it all around administrative work. Like most administrative work is like that. Project managers, things of that.
Okay, we're starting.
Additional parts of the corporate bureaucracy that you experience is almost always a job that they just made, right? That's it. Like, no. It's the other jobs that are bullshit jobs. My job is a real job, you see. Yeah. This doesn't mean that you don't actually willingly and legitimately actually participate in a project, for example, in a meaningful way. This doesn't mean that your output is meaningless. It doesn't. It doesn't at all.
Did I order
Of course.
AI
like,
cover?
Ultimately, you're working on a project. You go and work for Ogilvy or OMD or a marketing firm.
What was that free
right?
YouTube
And
audio
you sit
library you
there
showed us?
all day. You got me playing in the background. And
It was in YouTube Studio,
the person above
which you
in
can
the
just
ladder
like
to give you a
go to by
task.
say create and then look at
The
it.
task
There's like
that
a
you
music thing.
complete is oftentimes going to be like something that you
But
can
then
do with 10 minutes to 20 minutes of research.
it's also the
Do that research.
there's also
over the
infraction
course of a long period of time. That person
and
got another
white
job from another
bat
boss
audio
up
as
the
well.
corporate ladder, and that person got another job off the boss from another corporate ladder. Like it's just like mediators all the way down to you, the new associate working at working at a marketing firm, right?
Oh God, I shouldn't have done that.
I wouldn't say IT is a BS job where needed. Oh my God.
Oh God, no, I fucked it.
Don't get me started, okay, Mr. My job is to sit there and tell you to turn the computer on and off. This doesn't mean that it's not a valuable service that you're providing, okay? It just means that, like, oftentimes many of your work much of your work could be delegated out to, like, a couple different people.
No.
Corporations know this. But their upsizing and their downsizing specifically is about, under at least a financialized capitalist structure, is completely about market conditions and completely about what their stock is going to look like. That's it.
Hmm.
Don't worry about that guy. IT workers have the most delicate egos on the planet. This doesn't mean that like Twitter is a great example of this. Twitter currently operates on a skeleton crew, right? That's the first thing that Elon Musk did. He went in and he wiped out giant chunks of the platform.
Hello, chatter.
Now, is the platform good? Of course not. It genuinely is bad now. It's significantly worse. But does it still exist? Yes, it does. Do you understand? That's a perfect demonstration of like the elimination of redundancy and what that does to a company in the long term. Okay?
Conscious policy of trying to make sure the jobs actually do something, you're going to end up with useless make work. It's just going to happen. A lot of bosses, people who hire people, just get very angry at me about this. They're about the only people that get angry at this premise. They say, look, I would never hire someone if they didn't serve a purpose. This is just stupid, insulting. You don't understand how capitalism works. But bosses are the last people to know what's really going on. I trust people to understand what.
Oh my God, I'm getting owned. No.
Buckminster Fuller has a great quote about bullshit jobs. The promises are worth the 1 minute read. We should do away with the absolutely specious notion that everybody has to earn a living. It is a fact today that 1 in 10,000 of us can make a technological breakthrough capable of supporting all the rest. The youth of today are absolutely right in recognizing this nonsense of earning a living. We keep inventing jobs because of this false idea that everybody has to be employed at some kind of drudgery. Because, according to Malthusian Darwinian theory, he must justify his right to exist. So this is like, for the record, this is like so over the top peak slash anti-work theory at this point that it's frustrating people probably when they approach the subject from this perspective.
I'm fucking it up.
The thing is, I am a firm believer in bullshit jobs. I think they should exist. Make work is good. That's my take. Do you understand? Make work is good. It is not a bad thing. Kaya. Place. Hey. Place. Enough of your madness. Be a good girl, not a bad girl. She has a real job, not a bullshit job. Okay? The true business of people should be to go back to school and think about whatever it was they were thinking. Oh, sorry. So we have inspectors of inspectors and people making instruments for inspectors to inspect the inspectors. The true business of people should be to go back to school and think about whatever it was they were thinking about before somebody came along and told them they had to earn a living. Anyway. Dogs never want to work anymore? I know. Wasn't Graeber an anarchist also? It sounds very much in line with that thought. Yes, it is.
No.
Isn't one of the core themes of leftist economics that people should be paid for their labor? How is eliminating labor really leftist? No, this is a different attitude. I still think that there should be. I don't have a problem with bullshit jobs. Because I think that it's all, for the most part, it's all made up.
Hope.
I just want those bullshit jobs to be more comfortable. But also, on top of that, if you don't, you shouldn't have to work a bullshit job to survive. The irony is that shit jobs are significantly more important, although they are seen as more replaceable, more easily replaceable than the bullshit jobs. Those shit jobs are actually a necessity for society to function adequately. So there's that other part of this process as well. Anyway. "80% of accountants don't need to exist, and 95% of finance bros should be eliminated chatter along with 100% of HR, while 100% of nurses, doctors, teachers need to exist, or else society does fail." Yes. What about finance and shit? I think they're mega bullshit. I mean, the entire, almost all of finance as a sector is built around this principle. Why does HR exist? Protect the company and protect the profit margins and ensure that the company doesn't actually get hit with like a lawsuit or a lawsuit within the already limited place, ma'am. Your job is to place, ma'am. Yeah, don't look at me like that. Don't look at me with those defiant eyes. As a very biased source, please read. Big difference between corporate finance, accounting, and investment and wealth management, bros? Sure. Anyway.
I was like, no.
Problem is that there's a ton of socially necessary work that needs to be done,
No
which we don't
place.
accomplish because it's not profitable, and consequently, there's an abundance of people doing work which doesn't benefit society whatsoever. It's a terrible allocation of labor and resources.
That's very biased, Andy's. Oh my god.
You didn't finish the question of what the purpose of HR is. The purpose of HR is to there's already limited labor laws, limited, very, very limited, significantly limited labor protections.
Oh fuck, I fucked up
But within
again.
that framework of significantly limited labor protections, you can still get the company in trouble. So the HR's job is to basically minimize that as best as possible. It is there to protect the company, even though it masquerades as being there to protect you, the worker. That's not the case, of course.
Okay.
So, low carbon care and environmental jobs are needed as mentioned by AOC in that intercept animation about the Green New Deal.
Oh, it only gives intern?
Their name literally states you're a resource to them? Yes.
It'll give permanent stats at level 2. Oh no, it's giving it there. Okay, I see. Okay.
Adnan TTTK, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. An important stat for chatters is that around 40% of people agree their jobs are partially or entirely bullshit. And then I think like isn't there another study that says like people oftentimes work like at maximum 4 hours throughout their day? There was another there was another poll conducted. Anyway, a lot of this stuff has to exist though for a society to, I guess, function in the way that it does. In limited circumstances, HR might protect you if your employer is about to do some illegal shit, but ultimately their goal is protecting the company, and they might still be looking for the nearest opportunity to shit can you as soon as possible. Yeah, like, guys, I'll explain it to you this way. I was having this conversation this morning about like whether or not I, have the bandwidth to take time off, and like one of the things that even I forget sometimes is that like while I'm constantly in the content mines, okay, trying to make you laugh, trying to make you go, I never thought about it this way, okay? Ultimately, one of the things that I never, one of the things that like I never consider usually is that, in Europe, for example, you have significantly more time off from your work. We laugh about like Italians, they don't work hard or whatever, but like, I mean, technically in many European countries, you get a lot more time to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
In France, it is, I believe, illegal for your boss to contact you outside of work hours. There is significantly more federally mandated time off in European countries. There is more value placed upon autonomy and time away from work. Now, the point is, those countries aren't on fire, or if they are on fire, it's not because of this reason. If anything, they're on fire because all of those amenities that they take for granted have started diminishing. Okay? What is this? This latest
You're
TikToks
letting
are
me
a
go?
gold mine?
Why? I actually don't have to explain anything to you at all. I can just end your job pretty much whenever I want and for whatever reason that I want, except for discrimination. I have so many bills to pay, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Lucky for you, you qualify for up to 6 months of
What is? I had a total of 18 days off last year. That includes holidays. People sad. Yeah. In Denmark, it is stated by law that for every single month of work, every single month you work, you have to have 2 days off to yourself as a minimum, on top of like weekends, obviously.
unemployment. And it varies a lot state by state, but it's an average of $770 to $1,890 per month. That doesn't seem very long, but I guess it's better than nothing. Just be thankful you don't live in Florida because it's a maximum of only 12 weeks there. Does this mean I lose my health care too? Again, you're very lucky because you had some employer health insurance. You can actually continue your coverage through
With Cobra, which is the worst patchwork process you could ever imagine. Because, hey, guess what? Now that you lost your job, you don't have the same meaningful stream of revenue coming into your pocket. However, if you want to maintain the same platinum healthcare package that you got from your job, now you can pay the entirety of it with the little amount of money that you have remaining in your bank account, if you have any money in your bank account remaining at all.
Through a program called Cobra. On average, it's about $700 every month. $700 a month? That could eat up almost my entire unemployment benefit. That's not my problem anymore. Bye. I'm so sorry, but we have to let you go. Here is a letter explaining exactly why, and you still have 1 to 3 months of notice before your job officially ends. If I can't find another job by then, what kind of unemployment can I get? Average is 750 to 1,500 euros every month, which sounds similar to the US, but remember, the cost of living is about 30% lower. And how long will that last? Up to 2 years if you're under 55, above 55 is up to 3 years. And what happens to my health care? Don't worry, your health care is not tied to employment in France. Imagine you have no job, no health care. We would not do this. We are not monsters.
Just a reminder that there's no federally mandated paid or unpaid maternity leave in the United States. It might be specific to your state. This fact that I learned about America, learning that the federal government does not mandate that your company will pay for you if you have a child and can literally fire you for having a child legally, is what radicalized me. That fact is why I'm talking to you all right now.
I'm gonna die.
That fact is why I ended up finding Hassan.
Guess what? I'm straight.
That was what got me.
Hold on. My work forced me to take 5 days off in a row in a year, but I'm lucky as fuck to have this job even in capitalist America. Why do you immediately think of gay when you heard Brazil? Because Brazil is gay as hell, but that's not the reason. Yeah, but you got Americans say, but you guys will pay for it in higher taxes. And it's like what other people don't understand for some reason is that it's like, in my opinion, it's like a perfect structure. It's like air. It's air sealed.
Fuck.
Okay. It's vacuum sealed. Like, cost of living is lower. You get paid less. Ultimately, it doesn't matter, though. What should matter is what the amenities are and what your living circumstances look like. Okay? That's it. That's what you should be paying attention to. What the real estate market looks like, how expensive it is to, like, rent an apartment, what the likelihood is that you can even buy an apartment. Do you even need to buy an apartment at all? Or can you permanently be a renter without it actually destroying you? Like how much time off you have, what your quality of life looks like. That's what I think is more significant, not the GDP.
Oh my god. 34K to 50, that's insane.
It's also wrong in the sense that, like, when you adjust to all the amenities that people get with their taxes in European social democracies, for example, or even in developing nations, like, you end up paying significantly more in America. That's the other part that most Americans don't comprehend. But it doesn't really matter. People have already, people are so primed to thinking that all of this is going to be devastating for America. It's going to be bad for Americans, so we can't have it. Estonia gives up to 80 weeks of paid maternity and paternity leave to both parents and a daycare stipend when they do return to work. Imagine? Yeah, it's unimaginable. As a renter, I hate that the management company and or landlord can do whatever they want, come over and inspect whenever they want. Once the company took photos of every room once a year, horrible. You don't even have to adjust. They don't actually pay more taxes. The cost of healthcare is also just that high in the States. Yeah, that's the other part. And you want to know why? You want to know why the cost of healthcare is so expensive in the United States? Well, obviously because of a lack of regulation and having, I don't know, like pharmaceutical purchases be illegal by the federal government, like largest purchasing entities.
Chat. There was a chatter in Hassan's chat that literally said, and I replied to them, the only reason why France has all of this is because of colonialization of African countries. Okay. We need to think about. No, it's not true. That's not true. That's not true, Vepa Vitella. That's not true. The reason why European countries have more of a social democracy is because workers, okay, during the time when these things were formed, the USSR still existed. Yeah, it was the threat. It's the threat. Exactly. America has fucking colonies openly. It's funny. Like, fuck France, by the way. But America has Guam. And Puerto Rico, like, openly colonies. It's insane.
A lot of this stuff doesn't happen overnight. It happens in a very slow and almost invisible process. It's impossible to capture the
Hawaii
actual
counts as a
things
state,
that are
though.
occurring in your
Slightly
life.
different.
Even
though it's not
privatization
good.
doesn't happen overnight. Okay, it happens first and foremost by defunding public institutions. Okay, the NHS is a perfect example of this. The NHS is supposed to be a point of pride for the British, and it should be. Okay, it's a wonderful structure. It's a wonderful system. And yet, what is it now? How many years of austerity are we on? 15, 16? How many years of austerity under the Tories has the NHS withstood? And it gets worse. 14 years of austerity, and it has gotten worse and worse as a consequence of that austerity. That austerity is government-led. That austerity is done specifically so that inevitably you say, the NHS sucks. The NHS is bad, lads. We need to privatise to cover for it. And then first you do austerity, then you start privatizing, or rather, instead of privatizing, then you add additional private components to it. And then you show how much better the private parts are, like premium. It's premium. It's better. It's better. And then eventually you privatize entire parts of the nationalized.
I left the UK when I was a kid for guys. I wasn't born there, so I'm not allowed to like return. I'm not a UK citizen. But I left the UK in 2007. When I was 5 years old, in 2003, 2004, I got bitten by a dog on, it was really insane. Like, I got bitten by a dog on my neck. on Easter. No waiting times. They got a plastic surgeon from Scotland to like make sure I didn't have a scar on my face. NHS. That kind of level of like efficiency and level of care for the individual does not exist in the UK anymore with NHS. That's how badly it's been defunded. That's how good it was. I just want you guys to understand. Can you imagine your child? We weren't even in the same county that we lived, in a different county.
And you say what you have to show for it is also, of course, a lowering.
I have
of
the
taxes.
scar. It's under
Right,
my chin. You
right.
can't see it.
Very well. Very well. Well, do not worry. Taxes are lower. It's fine how energy privatization is bankrupting Britain, says Tom Nicholas. Another 51-minute video. We're not going to watch it. That's crazy. But public transit is a good example of this. Okay? You cripple the funding. Because, like, government programs, for the record, people think government programs suck, right? But government programs do not fail on their own. Government programs are made to fail. There is no world in which a government program actually fails as a consequence of it being like, oh, so too bureaucratic or whatever. No, the government programs are made to fail with a lack of funding, okay? That's it. They are sabotaged by a lack of funding, directly defunding. That's it. They are not supposed to work at the behest of profit. They're supposed to work on need. The United States Postal Service is a great example of this. Okay? A lot of people talk about the USPS. They're like, oh, it's too costly. I mean, it's not good. It's not for profit. Like, these guys suck. Oh, why are we paying
Probably
for
gonna lose now,
why
but
are we paying for their insane endowments, or not endowments, insane amounts of like retirement funds and whatnot, which, by the way, ironically, that is another way to try and fail the USPS, but we won't even get into that. The problem is the USPS, if it didn't exist, would cause the United States, the entirety of the United States to collapse in and of itself, because there are certain postal routes that no one is going to go to. The irony is many of the reactionaries that live in rural areas benefit from the U.S. Postal Service having a process where they deliver to you no matter what. Medication, chickens, things of that nature. Okay? Little chicks and medication. Amazon would not deliver to your house if you live in this like rural ass area. Okay? That's precisely the reason why UPS and Amazon delivery and all matter of different delivery services actually outsource to the USPS, oftentimes when there are routes that are simply too costly for them to take on. That's how it works. If something is not profitable and the structure is designed for profit in mind, then you're just not going to get that service. And you can't do that for Social Security checks and medication and things of that nature, like things that you need. Okay? The irony, of course, is that people don't understand.
Well,
that's precisely the reason why our for-profit healthcare structure has absolutely gutted the hospital system in rural areas. People don't understand. They're like, oh, I live in West Virginia. I have to go to the vet, right? To like get any kind of healthcare coverage. I don't know what the hell's going on. Joe Brandon did this. It's like, no, dog, Joe Brandon didn't do this, okay? Capitalism did that. You don't have rural hospitals because they're not profitable. Hospitals are never profitable to begin with, okay? Elective surgeries obviously create some level of revenue, but in the United States of America, I don't even think there's a single hospital that is genuinely a profitable institution. They all rely heavily on charitable contributions and also public subsidies. But of course, they're not supposed to be profitable. That's not how this works. It's a hospital, man. It's crazy. You out of your mind? Anyway.
Uno más, chat?
This video is going viral, by the way. Labor related. Read the replies. Is an idiotic right-wing cesspool. Sure, I'll take a look at this. I've seen it. I haven't watched it yet.
What do you guys want to play? There's the random one from yesterday. Or we could do Star Golden Weekly.
Doctors are paid by the government, I believe. Wait, what?
What are you guys feeling? You know what, fuck it, let's do some
Macroeconomically,
turtle.
good healthcare pays for itself by the return of a better functioning workforce? Of course, just like education. There's a reason why other countries around the planet literally pay for you to go to college. There are countries on the planet, think about that. There are countries right now on this universe, on this planet that we exist in, that are not that far away from the way we live, that pay you to go to college. Okay? In the United States of America, however, you have to not only pay to go to college, but you also have to pay a lot of money to go to college. You're like permanently in debt to even pay off that college expense. Expenses have also skyrocketed as a consequence of that. I wonder why. This is such a obvious failure that even right-wingers recognize it. Obviously, they have their own motivations because they want to ensure that people don't go to college at all, don't get educated at all, because they want to make sure that people are very stupid. Okay? So there's more Republican voters in general, but even they recognize it. Even they talk about how costly college has become. Nobody can pay $5 to subscribe to the Hassan Abi.
Okay, Hassan.
To the Hassan Abi broadcast at the top of the hour. God damn it.
That's a 0 out of 10. That's a 0.
Botched delivery. Fumbled it. God damn it. Okay, everyone is being mean to me, and you need to be chill, okay? Sometimes I fumble. It's fine. Y'all are being ruthless. Y'all are being ruthless, chatters. It was going to be good. Yeah, rate for the ad break that you thought you were going to receive, not the one that you did receive, okay? Sometimes. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. 0 out of 10, one fumble can lose you the game. That's crazy. Fumbled at the end zone. You hate to see it. Do you hate to see it? Because it feels like everybody loved to see that one. Crap. Anyway. 6 out of 10 for the cute dog behind. Thank you. Thank you.
I can't stop seeing it once you said it. Said what?
That was your biggest L of the year? Jesus Christ. All right.
Oh, yeah, that.
Dogging Gen Z and calling them lazy for not wanting to work a 9-to-5 for the rest of their lives. Let me put it in perspective for everybody.
Yeah, the 10 out of 10s on awful ad rates,
okay?
yeah.
I work
the Simps.
5 days out of the week, 40 hours a week, okay? I do not make enough to live on my own. I would not make enough to pay rent.
Yeah, he's still got a 4.87 on that.
All by myself. I would not be capable of doing that. 20 years ago when you were getting started, you could live on your own. 20 years ago when you started, you were able.
Las Canarias, thank you for the 50 gifted subs.
Is everyone in for SAP? I'm going to start now.
To no longer see the ads at the top of the hour, despite the fact that I did get a failing grade here on that ad break segue. God damn it. Absolutely eviscerated by that. You guys are, oh my God, you wouldn't want you as a teacher, okay? You wouldn't want you to grade you, chat.
Missed responses on Twitter was kind of weird.
God damn. Your stream makes me feel like I don't have problems in life.
Last call for Sap.
A good thing or a bad thing, or I don't know. Good thing, I guess. Gen X and millennials already gave the 9 to 5 gig a shot, and it fell apart miserably for most of them. Why would Gen Z want to sign up with the same false promises? All right, let's continue with
this. To do everything that I am now struggling to do. Let me add another perspective here. You've been working for 20 years. You have 20 years of working experience behind your belt. You have 20 years of experience in a career that has allowed you to get raises, to get more money, to profit you in an economy that you created. You can sit here and you can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but I've been working my tail end off just to barely make it by. And respectfully, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. I don't want to work my tail end off, wasting all of my life working just to barely be able to pay my bills. And that is what you created, not Gen Z. We're just here getting started. You've been doing it for the last 20 years. You tell me how it got ruined.
I think it's like odd that people are dunking on her because like, I guess it's like, it's weird to like frame it from a Gen Z problem because this is a consistent problem under capitalism. And yes, generational politics, specifically like this kind of generational divide, is yet another way for liberals to try and mystify class politics. That's it. Okay? That's how this works. Same principle behind the idea of like, oh, upper middle income or middle class. Like all of these concepts were created with the express purpose of trying to mystify class dynamics, which are pretty apparent, pretty obvious. And it's very successful, if I do say so myself. I use it sometimes as well, colloquially, right? So, overall, what she's saying is correct. I don't think that it's a controversial take to be like, hey, working at Walmart, as a worker at Walmart, I shouldn't have to work 40 hours and still not be able to make ends meet and still not be able to live by myself. That's a non-controversial perspective. Anyone that yells at that is a buffoon. Anyone that yells at that quite literally fails to capture their own conditions. They are doing what I like to always call peasant brain. They're doing the "me lord" is what they're doing. They're going around and saying, "No, me lord, you deserve all the grain. You deserve it, me lord. The other peasants are hiding the grain from you. It wasn't that bad of a bountiful winter." That's what you're doing. You're advocating against other fellow peasants, okay? You're sucking up to the Lord. That's it. She correctly identifies America in the realization that she's never going to get out of that cycle of working for nothing. Hit her while she's taking on this video is amazing. She's correct. While alienation doesn't exist for everyone, it always hurts the next generation more. That's what the late-stage capitalism necessitates. Gen Alpha will say the same, and it will be just as correct. Yes.
My lord.
Conditions worsen relatively to the other people. And the reality of the matter is that this is a problem that every generation has experienced time and time again. I do think that people definitely have, they do definitely have like rose-colored nostalgia glasses on. I mean, there's certain aspects of like American existence that have on paper gotten better for a broader percentage of the audience. However, overall, we still haven't solved this very serious problem, which is if you work 40 to 50 hours a week, you should be able to live on your own. That is crazy. Okay? That's crazy. It's ironic because she works at Walmart, which is the greatest welfare recipient of all time in the United States of America. As a company, a gigantic percentage of their workforce works on food stamps. Like, they don't get paid enough. And Walmart adjusts their wages with that in mind. They get the food stamps from the federal government or from their state governments, and then they turn around and use those food stamps at Walmart. Okay? What a way to double book. Oh, my Lord. Additionally messed up when you think about the reality that the Walton family, I believe, still maintain like 50% ownership over Walmart, which means that like we are directly giving them a tremendous amount of money. Like the federal government is directly subsidizing a ginormous amount to the tens of billions in their net worth that they continuously grow year over year. Whew.
We can sit here and we can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but you let the economy turn into what it did. You let it all run to hell. And now it's Gen Z's fault because we don't want to work to fix your mistakes.
Anyway, I work 2 jobs, was essentially around 50 to 60 hours a week. I'm also a full-time student. This late-stage capitalism cycle is brutal. Yeah. Crazy statistic. In the UK 20 years ago, the majority of 18 to 30-year-olds lived with their kids. Now the majority of 18 to 30-year-olds live with their parents. Yep. I'm 37, 20 years into this madness, and it just never changes, only gets worse. I'm not interested in struggling to meet some arbitrary deadline set by someone else to just pay my bills. I'll forever be anti-work. Yeah, I don't know. Anger is an honest emotion, but I think our anger is misdirected at generational politics when it's more of a systematic issue on how we organize the economy, in my opinion. Yes. I am not a believer in generational politics. That is precisely the reason why I told Jenk what I told him, that it is a foolhardy, silly way of analysis that will leave you shocked when you find out that there are still very much, a 50-50 split between the two different parties, no matter what. I've shared this here before, but it's relevant again. I have my doctorate in pharmacy. I left retail pharmacy because I couldn't even afford to pay my $316,000 in loans on a salary of $120K while living in D.C. So now I make $205K and was forced to move to D.C. to work in person at a desk job. I pay $3,200 in rent and a 2-bedroom bathroom and lose $2.5K a month in loans. I am so far away from my house, and I'm almost 32. Yeah, and you're one of the highest trained professionals overall. I was talking to my mom about this the other night when she was talking about how lazy her Gen Z coworkers are. I asked her how much her Gen Z coworkers make currently. She said $40K. Then I asked her how much she made when she was their age working in that same job they're working in now. She said $40K. And Gen Xers and Boomers wonder why Gen Zs hate working.
The day I got my first job, I had to contribute to the household despite not living in.
Buy a fan of house, or you fake? I'm fake. I'm fake as hell.
Oh,
I'm
God,
the fakest
Jason.
you've ever seen.
Look, Jason, all I'll say to you is at least the rand is weak.
Anyway.
But yeah. I love that the rand is weak. Me too, dude. Hating on our own country. I own dollars, so yeah. I hate that. I love that the rand is weak too.
I calculate my real income by taking the gross amount, subtracting rent and commute, and that's how much I have. Like, I made $65K, but after rent, I really made $40K, and I'm a truck driver. They used to call Gen X the me generation. Same story, every generation. Yes, generational politics are unchanging because the real back and forth in politics are not on generational or on different generations, but instead They are done on class lines.
Is it awkward living at home still? Still
dynamic
understandable for the parents?
The capital.
I can afford rent. I'm very lucky.
Laborer class is still the same.
Why do I refuse to, you know, be the kind of person that rents? Because I refuse to pay off some random individual's fucking mortgage. I literally am like so unbelievably against the idea. I prefer, and I give money to my parents every single month, all right, to live here, and it, you know, it goes into like also like the you know, the other bills and everything. But I refuse to, and I'll have to, I know, when I'm in Europe, but I refuse, well, I still have the ability to do it, to pay off someone else's fucking mortgage. I'm not gonna do it. And I've told that to my parents, like, I do not want to spend an excessive amount of money that I make every single month going to a stranger. I would prefer to pay you guys rent, and I do. It's not a lot, it's not more than I would pay over there, but I pay it willingly. I'd rather pay off my own parents' mortgage than like some random individual that like just lucked, you know, lucked on the capital.
So yeah, I know Chris Christie dropped chat. We're, you know, I'm gonna talk about our big boy dying. Okay, I will.
No, I am actually moving to Europe, yeah. Soon-ish.
So, yeah, I think that but blaming something is nebulous and hard to grasp
Becoming
as
a
the economy is
Europoid,
more
yep.
difficult than just blaming your parents or grandparents, especially when they're complaining about how lazy you are. Yeah, I think like older generations say Gen Z sucks.
Come to Trinidad and Tobago.
Older generations say Gen Z are lazy and they suck. Younger generations like Gen Z say
I'm okay.
the older generations ruin the economy. And the reality is that generational politics are silly. I use it colloquially for funsies, but overall, they're silly. It's just the real. It's just a way.
No,
to
like
mask
if you're
the
not
truth.
like
The real
uber
truth is
wealthy,
class politics.
Like wealth holding is fine.
As a worker, you have goals. You want to work the least amount of hours for the most amount of pay. It's perfectly normal to feel this way. This is a normal thing. Okay, this is on
Classic
I'm talking about
Hasanami
this from
line
the
coming right now.
perspective of self-interest. Your boss, on the other hand, the capital owner, person who owns the job, owns the workplace, owns the business, wants you to work for the most amount of hours for the least amount of pay that they can get away with paying you. This is the inherent contradiction that causes the division and also the antagonism between the two classes.
He's changed it up. Okay, I see.
Same thing happened with your parents as well. Okay? That's it. After the Black Death, there were lots of complaints from the ruling class that serfs and peasants were quiet quitting and in general didn't want to work anymore. From the Statutes of Laborers, 1349 to 51. You can read the same stuff in the Wall Street Journal today. This goes back to my Lord argument. Whereas it was lately ordained by our Lord the King, and by assent of the prelates, earls, barons, and others of his council, against the malice of servants who were idle and not willing to serve after the pestilence without excessive wages, that such manner of servants, as well men as women, should be bound to serve, receiving the customary salary and wages in the places where they ought to serve in the 20th year of the reign of the king that now is, or 5 or 6 years before, and that the same servants, refusing to serve in such a manner, should be punished by imprisonment of their bodies. The servants, having no regard to the ordinance, but to their ease and singular covetousness, do withdraw themselves from serving great men and others, unless they have livery and wages double or treble of what they were wont to take in the 20th year and earlier, to the great damage of the great men and impoverishment of all the commonalty. The statute applied to all those who did not own enough land for their own subsistence, obliging them to work for lords at fixed wages. Hence it struck at small holders as such. That's right. So it doesn't even matter what the structure looks like. I've covered this before, the nobody wants to work anymore thing before. I mean, it goes way, way, way back in time, not just like 1894. See, worker been lazy for a long time. Miracle, we're here. The other part of this that I find really cool, really fascinating rather, is that the way that we are describing the lords, okay, that hasn't changed either. Class dynamics have not changed at all, okay? Because when you look at it, they're still regarding the job providers as great men. You are serving great men, okay? The attitude of entitlement is still there. You should be excited at the prospect of serving a great man. Okay? And that's it. What holds the glue that holds that structure together at that time was, of course, still the threat of violence. But beyond that, which by the way still exists, we have police
Every
forces.
single time Hassan does a British accent, so many people tag me in Hassan's chat. I'm just like, what?
The glue, the theoretical glue that held it all together was God, was religion. Nowadays, not so much.
No, I'm not kidding. Look at this.
People don't really, especially in the Western world, don't really believe in the God stuff that much, but they do believe in another ideology.
Where's Little Bear? Best LB impression.
Especially
Sounds like
here
Little
in the
Bear,
United
lol.
States of America.
Fucking
They believe
moderators,
it more
dude.
than they believe God in some instances. That's capitalism. And the glue within capitalism is no longer
Not you,
the
Lake.
divine right to rule, but instead
Yeah, what are the good ones?
meritocracy. The idea that every single person can go from being a peasant to being a lord king is consistently instilled upon the population, reinforced over and over and over again since birth. That fallacy, that fake freedom that you have,
Toxic
for
timed you out,
class
homie.
mobility,
That was toxic.
is seen as the shining beacon that keeps it going. Okay? Meritocracy, the idea that Elon Musk, of course, worked hard and worked smart, and that's precisely the reason why he has, $200 billion of fake money. He is the myth of gifted individual. The myth of the gifted individual. Elon Musk, he deserves it. He did it. He worked hard for that money. He worked smart for that money. How dare you say anything about Elon? How dare you say he's stupid? No matter what the evidence points to, he's still worth $230 billion. Doesn't matter if he took a company and tanked it like the one that we're looking at currently, Twitter, right? He's still worth the most, which means he still is the best, right? Bigger the number, better the person. And that's it. The myth of meritocracy keeps this entire process together. To those in the underclass, it gives them motivation that one day they too will have bountiful wealth. They too will live like the Elon Musks of the world, the Richard Bransons of the world. And it reinforces the position that those at the tippy top of society that have the same level of power and wealth accumulation that kings had and lords had in times before, it reinforces and re-solidifies their position. It tells everybody that, no, they deserve to be there. They worked hard. And they worked smart. 1,000,000 times smarter, as a matter of fact. Bullshit. It's complete bullshit. Meritocracy is a lie. There are certain sectors where you can get close to a meritocratic approach, but you can never overcome probability. Probability will always play a role. Luck will always be a factor. You have no say in what zip code you're born in, and that's precisely why, on average, when you look at it, your zip code that you were born in is more determinative of your future prospects than anything else in this country. The financial circumstances that you were born into, in this country even, greatly dictates where you are going to end up. Now then, beyond that, you also have to think about the zip codes elsewhere. Who's to say that a child born in India to a lower caste structure is not destined to be a brilliant scientist? We simply don't know. There is so much potential out there that is laid to waste as a consequence of the awful material conditions that so many people, the overwhelming majority of the population on the planet, is subjected to. Okay? That's it. This does not mean that hard work does not factor into it. Of course it does. Of course. I am not a particularly skillful person. I'm not smarter than the average person. I'm not more charismatic than the average person. I'm not quick-witted. Okay? But I do work really hard. Okay? I do. I work so hard. I work non-stop. You can say that work Omegalol on Twitch, but when you compare the just sheer number of hours that I'm on camera, and you compare it to other forms, other facets of entertainment, other facets of media, you start to recognize it. Obviously,
no, zip code is an American thing. That's why.
Like a delivery driver or someone.
Zip code is an American thing. That's why. Here we call it your postal code.
The reality is, I have a tremendous amount of luck that factored into what family I was born into, what I look like. Even what I look like is a great example. What I look like is a great example. Because if I didn't work so hard, if I didn't work out every single day, if I didn't manage my diet all the time, if I didn't have a tremendous amount of willpower to stop myself, I wouldn't look the way I do, right? So obviously luck played a role in that, and hard work played a role in that as well. When I first started on Twitch, I could not yap at all. I was terrible off the cuff. I could not speak off the cuff at all. That was part of the reason why I wanted to even begin speaking on Twitch. I wanted to get better at delivering the information that I had in my mind in an uninterrupted fashion without going all the time. And I still do that, right? And the only reason why I can talk uninterrupted for 10 consecutive hours over and over again is because for years and years I've been doing this.
I wanna tap, and I'm dunking on my chat. I don't care if you think I'm being obnoxious, but I just wanna tap. I wanna tap.
He works really hard.
Wanna
my milkshake brings all the boys to the ER, but there turns out the boys are
He's also very
fashion.
gifted. He is naturally a
Riggs
charismatic
said
person.
behaving beaver. Okay,
He is
last one.
a
Let's go.
born theater kid. He is a
Let's
showman.
do.
I never was. Okay?
Golden. Let's do Star Pack.
Here's the thing. Being a born showman or being gifted in a particular field
When did Hassan say this?
massive advantage
Let's
early
see.
on. Okay? Same with athleticism, for example. If you were like a particularly athletic person, which I am not,
here.
right? You can pick up a ball and pick up a sport very quickly, right? Will is also a very athletic person, for example. But I'll give you an example where I, am better than he is, right? Basketball. I'm not a very athletic person, but I'm better than many people, many average basketball players, for two reasons. One, because of the natural height advantage that I have. I'm much taller.
Might have been this one. So
right?
I'm looking through
there you
videos
go.
to see
That's
where
the-
Hassan
that's
said,
the immediate
I
benefit
do this
that I have
because I'm
from
trying
luck.
to
But
get
then
better
also
off the
beyond
cuff.
that, I work very hard. I play a lot. I play basketball for years and years and years, okay?
No, why is it?
So when I pick up a dodgeball, I'm not that good. I'm not good at all. But at least when it comes to basketball, I am good. It's something that I'm very confident in, something that I know I'm good at. Why? Because I've done it for years.
Yeah, no, it is luck.
So natural talent only takes you a certain place.
This
Certain
one?
place. Okay? Dude, write a book or something. Holy shit. Wait, what? Any excuse to talk about yourself? Jesus fucking Christ. Narcissism overload. Dude, write a book or something. Holy shit. Trying to make your head bigger any way possible? My friend, I don't think you understand. I can only give you examples of my life so I can try to make this easily digestible. I'm a Twitch streamer.
Maybe it was
Chatter
this
has
one.
had it out for you since you mentioned Hutch earlier today, by the way. Yeah. I don't know what else to explain in this situation. Like,
I need to remember to save this clip.
Makes me sad, dude. 39-month subscriber, like, failing to comprehend a point that I've made for 39
Maybe
months.
I
makes me
saved it as a
sad.
clip. Let's have a look.
I've been making this point, this exact same point, in perpetuity for the past 10 years. It is one of the most important aspects of understanding my worldview and understanding, I guess, just the anti-capitalist perspective, anti-capitalist framework, is that hard work is important. Okay, of course it is. But ultimately, meritocracy is still a lie. The way that it is explained to people is silly. It's just a way to try and get you on board and not have you recognize that many of the people in the tippy top are not there because they worked harder than everybody else or worked smarter than everybody else. That's not it. They were able to capitalize on the opportunity given to them, and many people do not have that opportunity because of the material conditions that they're born into. And there's nothing you can do about changing that reality.
When
this
did he
doesn't
say
mean
it?
you should stop working
get in
very
for that,
hard
by the
to
way.
overcome those hurdles. I say that all the time. Okay? You should do everything in your power to overcome the conditions that you were subjected to. That's precisely the reason why I explained some of the things that I had to overcome myself. I mean, there's a reason. My entire family is obese, for example. Okay? People say, oh, you're attractive. That's like the reason why you're successful. And it's like, sure.
This one?
But I worked very hard at that. That was something I was able to overcome. It did not come easy to me. I did not have any natural gifts in that regard. Okay? Obviously, that only takes you so far.
Okay, hold on. I'm just trying to see, like, when Hassan said he wants to get better at
So, I explained
off the
all of this
cuff
to you
speaking.
because I want you to understand that the system is designed around a lie, and that lie has changed over the years.
People
But
in
the
leadership in
fundamentals
the
of
House
or the necessity for that lie has not changed. The necessity for that lie to exist is
remember.
the class dynamic that works
Anyway,
regardless.
I'll find it at some
that
point.
exists regardless of whether you recognize it or don't. If you do recognize it, then you can work against it. How can you work against it? Through collective bargaining, through getting together, okay?
Again,
and
everyone ready for sub?
The only power that you have as a wagee, okay? That's class awareness. Class awareness is the first point towards demonstrating class solidarity. Capital owners are class aware, and capital owners demonstrate class solidarity all the time. You need to develop class consciousness, and then you need to engage in class solidarity.
I would rather lose by.
All right, let's
now
go.
We're going to move on to Christopher.
Everyone for sub?
To win.
I'm going to start.
And I feel no differently today.
Who
because this is a fight for the soul of our party and the soul of
has
our country.
Dropped off. He's suspending his
Why
campaign.
have we resisted the calls to drop out of this race? Because unlike some of the other candidates, we're fighting for something bigger than ourselves. We're fighting for something bigger than self-interest. We're fighting for something bigger than the next title. I've got plenty of titles.
Precious programmers.
Titles to last me the rest of my life. U.S. Attorney.
If it's even number of players, yeah, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter. It's better when it's even number, though.
Son, brother.
Goomba.
I have enough titles to last me for the rest of my life. We're fighting for something bigger. And it's something that conventional wisdom thinkers just can't possibly understand. And so they've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, because some polls, that I should drop out of the race, that I should get out for that reason. The smallness of the campaigns, who spend more time arguing and worrying about who should get out of the race than they have spent going after the front runner. They spend all their time saying, oh, Christie should get out, Scott should get out, Pence should get out, Hutchinson should get out, Burgum should get out. They and their donors have a different target every day to try to minimize the attention to their own campaign. Now, their own campaign is a campaign that doesn't play to win. It's a campaign that plays to not offend. Problems in our country, the divisions and influx at our border, the problems with our enormous debt, the failures of our education system, all of those things and much more will not be solved.
He's
by
saying
people
this because the audience is full of libs, and he's saying this so he can get a job at CNN, which is hosting this.
If we ever have a hope,
loser speech
restoring this
already.
party,
All right, I got a
be a
pee-pee.
governing party of principles, we have to be willing to do the hard work and take some of the heat that comes with it. We have candidates in this race who have run away from forums where they were afraid they were going to be booed. I run into the forums where I know I'm going to be booed, because being booed for telling the truth is a badge of honor.
When I was in New York City, I accidentally stepped on his security's feet.
Said and done so far.
Bro, what?
And I'm proud of all the people who have supported us and are willing to do what needs to be done to restore the soul of our country. Because in the end, all those issues that we've talked about at all the town halls, they're all really important. But they're no more important than the most important issue. And that is the character of the candidate.
Oh my God.
You don't know what's going to come across the next president's desk. You think you can predict it, but you can't. No one asked George W. Bush or Al Gore what they would do if 4 airliners were hijacked and flown into symbols of American
Oh,
power,
God.
killing thousands of Americans. No one asked him that in New Hampshire in 2000. But I was glad we had a man of character sitting behind the desk in the Oval Office when that attack
Bush?
came, because I knew George Bush would do
A
everything
man
he
of
needed
character?
to protect this country and its people and put them first, not himself first. Imagine just for a moment if 9/11 had happened with Donald Trump behind the desk. The first thing he would have done was run to the bunker to protect himself.
No!
He
Imagine.
would have put himself first before this country.
9/11, folks. Imagine it.
That he is unfit to be president of the United States is unfit themselves to be president of the United States. Campaigns are run to win. That's why we do them. I see the chairman here in New Hampshire. He knows we run campaigns to win. My goal has never been to be just a voice against the hate and the division and the selfishness of what
Sorry
our
that you're
party
hearing
has
that.
become under Donald Trump. It's also been to win the nomination and defeat Joe Biden and restore our party and our country to a new place of hope. And
if his target is libs and he's just shitting their mouth holding up GWB, excuse me, do you not know any liberals? They love George W. Bush now.
Path to accomplishing that goal that I would get out. And it's clear to me tonight that there isn't a path for me to win the nomination, which is why I'm suspending my campaign tonight for President of the United States.
No!
Don't do it.
And I can see it from some of the faces here that I'm disappointing some people by doing this. People who believe in our message and believe in what we've been doing. I also know, though, it's the right thing for me to do. Because I want to promise you this. I am going to make sure that in no way do I enable Donald Trump to ever be president of the United States again. And that's more important than my own personal ambition.
My Lord.
So
who are you going to support, sir?
We have to decide in the next 10 months, who do we want to be as a country?
Endorse Joe Brandon, coward.
We forget that people...
Dude, it'd be sick if he endorsed, it'd be sick if he endorsed Vivek. He'd be like, America needs Vivek Ramaswamy.
There are problems, and we have to fix them. We have to secure our border, and we have to do it in a way that's smart and sensible and will work. Because it's not right to have a porous southern border in this country. But I want you to remember something. Those people who are coming over that border, many of them are walking hundreds, if not thousands of miles to get there. Because here is where they see hope. Here is where they see freedom. Here is where they see success. Here is where they see that flag, which means for them, thousands of miles away in other countries, all of those principles. We are still the indispensable nation to the rest of the world. We need to be the indispensable nation once again to each other. We need to believe in America as much as they believe in America. Right now, they believe in America in a way that this country, angry, divided, with selfish leadership, who puts their own ambition first, isn't doing for our country anymore. We need to change that. And every election is an opportunity to change it.
Oh, shut up, God.
We have people in this race, all they will do is tell you how bad everything is, how angry we should be. And there's certainly sufficient reason for anger at the failures of the leaders we've selected. But they're doing it not for that reason. It's not a moment of honesty and transparency. Believe me, it's not. It's because they believe when we get angry, what we'll do is naturally relate to the angriest voice in the room. Donald Trump.
I'm going to talk about the hot mic moment in a second.
Every day because he's angry. He wants you to be angry so that you'll relate to his anger and then to vote for him. Please understand this. I have known him well for 22 years, more than anybody else in this race has known him. And I can promise you this, if you put him back behind the desk in the Oval Office and a choice comes and a decision is needed to be made as to whether he puts himself first or he puts you first, how much more evidence do you need that he will pick himself? And if that is what we have there, then people are going to remain angry, remain divided, and become even more exhausted than they are today. The country that I think we should choose is the country that recognizes that our differences have always been our strength, not a weakness, not something to divide us and anger us, but our differences have been our strength. We've come from different countries at different times to different places with different skills, with different religions. And yet, only here can those people.
Bro is really a recipient of the fattest endowment from Yappington University. Oh my Lord, dude.
Come to Great Britain.
No wonder he's just like the biggest loser. This is so, oh my God, dude. He's just saying nothing.
Of this country.
This is like, dude, West Wing has ruined an entire generation. Oh my God.
People no longer want to come in search of a better, freer, stronger nation. That will be the real problem. That will be harder to solve.
He's just,
we back
Jesus
our allies
Christ,
around the world.
Dude. He's yappa dabba
They
doo.
shouldn't have to think twice about having America's support. Yet we have petty politics interfering with supporting freedom fighters in Ukraine. We have petty politics interfering with defending our friends in Israel. We have petty politics interfering with making sure.
What petty politics? You mean like doing genocide? Is that it?
Israel's interfering with Ukraine. The fuck do you mean petty politics? Our friends over in Israel.
Where we can do all those things because leadership aspires to something greater, not to appealing to the lowest common denominator, which is what the leadership of the last decade and a half in the White House has done, including the current president. We need a country that once again feels like everyone has a stake in what we're doing, that we can bring people together. And it's hard. It's hard to do that. I did it for 8 years in New Jersey, in a Democratic state, with a Republican governor. And it's hard because we have real disagreements. But those disagreements are small compared to the things that we have in common. But it takes effort. We have to work at it. We have to believe that the other person has a rightful place in our country. We have to believe that whether we agree with them or not, they got elected too. And they have a right to have a voice and to be heard and to have a vote and to have it count. This race has always been bigger than me. It's bigger than any one person if you do it the right way. I tried to change conversation in this race.
Bro, he's still going, dude.
I cannot imagine him having sex. I'm sorry. Like, no disrespect. This ain't fast shaming, but like,
I stood on those debate
I physically
stages,
don't know what's
every
happening.
One of them. The pundits in
Oh
the
my
media
God.
and the professional politicians who worked for other campaigns said I wasn't going to make any of them. Right? Before every debate, no, Christie won't make this one. No, we make this one. I made every one of them. But when I stood on there, I watched the other candidates arguing with each other as if the race was between us.
Bro, everyone is bored.
Audience is in an
Pretending as if
unskippable cutscene.
The guy who's in front
Ah!
and wasn't there wasn't to be spoken about.
It is an unskippable cutscene.
Like Voldemort in the Harry Potter books. He who shall not be named. Because they feared even bringing up his name would make him appear with his magical, mystical powers to end their political careers. So they say ridiculous things, make ridiculous points. And let me tell you, if Donald Trump becomes the nominee of this party,
Bro, he's so
the moment
boring.
that it happened was when Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis and Tim Scott and Mike Pence and Doug Burgum and Vivek Ramaswamy stood on that stage in Milwaukee in August. And when we were asked to support someone who is a convicted felon to be president of the United States, they raised their hands. Give Ron credit, he had to look at everybody else first to see if he wanted to raise his hand, but then he raised his hand. Kind of like cheating off somebody's paper in high school. They raised their hands. And I did not. And will not. And I cannot countenance that behavior. I want you to imagine for a second that Jefferson and Hamilton and Adams and Washington and Franklin were sitting here tonight. Do you think they could imagine that the country they risked
What
their
is life
lives
like
to
on
create
Bitch Island? I don't know.
would
Ask your
actually be
mom.
Having a conversation
Thank you for the follow.
about
Kennedy is
whether a
confused.
convicted criminal should be president of the United States. I can't tell you how many people in New Hampshire have asked me, why isn't there a law against that? The answer is because nobody ever thought that someone would have the audacity to run for president
Holy moly.
as a criminal. And they never thought that any American
shut
electorate
up.
would actually support it.
First of all, dude, you're a criminal. Like, what do you mean? You're
They
basically
didn't put it in the
also running for
Constitution,
president
along with 35 years
as a
old
person
and
who's
a
done
natural-born American citizen. They didn't think, let's
who's
throw in
done
here,
things
and
that
not a criminal.
should be considered
They thought
crimes.
maybe we
Okay,
get that part.
I'm cutting this. I'm cutting this. Let's get to the fun story. Chris Christie actually had a scooplet backstory behind the Chris Christie hot mic movement, including a voicemail to the Daily Beast from the former New Hampshire GOP chairman and the candidate he was talking to. Chris Christie on a hot mic got caught before this Yappington sesh. Okay, here's 55 seconds of it uninterrupted. Caught on a hot mic ahead of his expected announcement that he's dropping in the presidential race. He says Nikki Haley is going to get smoked, and a petrified Ron DeSantis called him.
Don't want to hear it, Wayne. They don't want to hear it. We know we're right, but they don't want to hear it.
Right.
And there's, we couldn't have been any clearer.
Right.
We couldn't have been any more direct or worked any harder. So,
Who did he endorse?
Yeah.
Well, when you give land to China and places like that.
Yeah, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, she spent $68 million so far, just on TV. Spent $68 million so far, $59 million by DeSantis, and we spent 12. I mean, who's punching above their weight and who's getting a return on their investment, And she's going to get smoked, and you and I both know it. She's not up to this.
And she's still 20 points behind Trump in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he's
I mean, they're saying in a candid moment what we've been saying in perpetuity is that they're just having a mid-off, okay? They're all smoked. They're all cumstered. They're all dumpstered. There's no way to take down the Trump train, baby. Now, when I say that, there's probably liberals out there who go, see? Hassan loves Donald Trump. It's like, no, man. No, okay? I mean, I love Trump as a phenomenon. I love Trump as a comedian, okay? I don't like Trump as a person in a position of power, obviously. So it's just like these guys have nothing going on the Republican Party side. That much is clear to me. It is especially clear to me considering that they thought Ron DeSantis would be the great savior for the institutional Republicans. and very quickly,
Bye, Arizon.
has tanked any kind of support that he could have cultivated.
Chat, there's actually a video I want to upload. On YouTube, and I will need to edit it. Do you guys want me to do that live? I'm gonna do it straight after this round. It's when Hassan forgot that I sent him that clip. Yeah, okay. There's a few things I need to. I'll do that now.
Okay. So now they're looking at. Oh God, Ron DeSantis is such a great analog for Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, I know.
40
Toxic.
points.
You're just like posting in my chat what Beetle tagged me. Without even saying, it's really funny. I can see the mentions. It's pretty funny.
It's nutty. Whew. So bad. Point is, institutional Republicans are in a rock and a hard place situation.
Fuck, I played way more Elden Ring. I just forgot to like change the thing.
I don't know, dynamics are coming to cook them a little bit.
Fuck. I played way more Elden Ring than that. You're gonna have to go back.
That's Nick Merckx' GOAT, baby.
Thank you, Rena.
I'll never forget that. That's my GOAT, dog. Ron DeSantis. My GOAT. So, yeah, and Elon Musk, too. I guess, like, what I'm trying to say is Ronald McDonald DeSantis, with his Mickey Mouse rings that he got due to Donald Trump and due to COVID, okay, was destined to fail when people found out how annoying he is. He is not a good retail politician at all. Okay? Now they're trying to back the other pony, Nikki Haley. Okay? And that's not going to work either. It's just not going to work. Here's Chris Christie on Hot Mic, by the way. Here's the backstory, I guess, on the Hot Mic moment. What is this? Good for Chris Christie? This speech rocks. Oh, my God, John. Come on, man. Come on, dog. This guy's a charlatan. Like, what are you doing? Okay, anyway. Oh, here, let's finish the last part of the Hot Mic.
He's still gonna carry out, right?
Yes, always. I talked to DeSantis called me, petrified that I would.
He's probably getting out after Iowa.
Well,
Huh! The guy goes, he's probably getting after Iowa. Holy moly. Let's hear what Wolf has to say about this.
Very powerful, very dramatic statement, suspending his presidential campaign, but not necessarily endorsing any of the other Republican candidates. I want to bring back our political team for some analysis. David Chalian, he was so tough on Trump, probably the toughest I've heard him so far in this campaign. What's your reaction to what we just heard from Chris Christie?
You got demonetized? Yeah, on YouTube.
Well, obviously, Chris Christie leaves this campaign in the
getting after, getting out after Iowa. No, getting after Iowa. Getting out after Iowa.
His assessment, I think,
not my
gets to
problem.
the heart
No. It was
entire
because of
story,
reused content, which is
this has been what he has been selling.
Hassan has an open
and
IP, but
it
I
has
edited it a lot
not
more,
been
so it doesn't make any
bought
sense anyway.
by the Republican primary
Ain't
electorate.
nobody
Not,
is buying.
nationally, and even not really in New Hampshire, as he was in third place there. Now that doesn't change his values, and he said very much.
CNN lies. Why not watch Democracy Now or something? Because I'm the Democracy Now of the situation. I'm looking at liberal media and giving you analysis on liberal media.
Donald Trump unfit for the presidency, then you yourself are unfit for the presidency. Those are stark words to leave to his former opponents. And look at the timing of this. Chris Christie is obviously not unaware that there's a debate tonight in Iowa on this stage right behind me between DeSantis and Haley, and has clearly chosen this moment to inject his rationale for his candidacy into this race at the time of his departure, to sort of leave it sitting there for the remaining candidates running against Donald Trump to consider. But again, I think it is crucial that we look
Renner,
at where Republican
I'm
primary
so
voters have been
irritated.
about this race,
I just tried to
Chris Christie has
gift
been relentless in this argument
10
that he
subs
has
to
been
your
pitching
channel,
voters, and they have not been
and
buying
it went off my account and it didn't go
He said
through.
Trump is unfit to be president.
But you should be
of the
getting
United
10 subs
States,
from
and
me.
If, any of the other Republican candidates refuse to say
It's
that,
fine.
they
Yeah, I
are
know.
also
I did it
unfit to be
because I
president of the
wanted.
United States.
I'm not
That's
doing it
Trump's
because
statement.
you know.
Indeed,
I'll
Jeff
do if it
Salley,
doesn't go through and I get a
it was
refund. I'll do
very
it
robust.
again.
I think
But
Chris Christie
it's like there's
making
it's something
strong
broken with the like Twitch
statements
thing.
is like
Like
less
it went off my
impactful
account.
than someone
But then
like
it didn't go
myself
anyway.
making strong statements. Because I feel
I've
like
wanted to give 2 subs for a
even
while and I
have
keep
more
on forgetting. Oh
broad
wait, what the
popular
fuck?
support as a person who's not running for president and simply an online Z-list e-celebrity than Chris Christie does. It's like that person in the crowd making a statement has the same weight of Chris Christie. The only people that will try and make this into a real thing are going to be obviously people in this community because we love memeing on our big boy, but also the people at CNN who will inevitably hire Chris. So they're just like kind of glazing him before they.
Anyway.
They're basically glazing him for you know, our next co-host. See, he's big time. Anyway.
By the way, follow I am Renner. By the way, I am Renner. Does the VOD channel.
These words are etched in stone, and I can promise you the Biden campaign and Democrats will use them as an argument for independent voters against Donald Trump. But before any of that, I think probably the most surprising
Hold on, I gotta grab my
perhaps the
food.
most stinging indictment was against his fellow challengers. And he's really said much of that, some of it in private about Nikki Haley and others, but it certainly puts to rest any suggestion that he is going to be rushing to endorse a Nikki Haley. Now, his voters, of course,
so
he
close.
own his voters. So voters will make an individual judgment whether there is an endorsement.
It went through on your side, good.
I think a very
I'm just irritated that it didn't show for me. Oh, there we go, yay!
many fronts that gives us significant amount to analyze and discuss going forward, Wolf.
One of my favorite things is like whether Chris
said
Christie can move the needle within the electorate in the primary race, and it's like, bro, he was polling at like 1%. Okay, what do you mean move what needle? Like I don't know what the crosstabs look like on that. Like who is a Chris Christie to Donald Trump voter? I'm sure there are some Americans that do that, but ultimately it's like 8 people. You know what I mean? I like imagining it as a joke, right? Like I'm the median.
Thank you for doing that, Renner, by the way.
Or I'm the Chris Christie to
When I'm
Donald
more
Trump
organized,
voter.
I will upload all
There's
my
a
own
lot of
VODs.
crossover appeal between the two. For me,
But I still be
it's just because
like
they're the two fattest.
not to replace what you do, but just to keep in a separate like sort of section. You know what I mean?
Like I'm the guy voting in the Republican primaries on who's the fattest. This is precisely the reason why Chris Christie was my first choice, and now Donalde is my second.
Well done, Seismic. Okay, all right. I'm gonna do some editing now. I'm craving it, and there's something I need to upload. Yeah, so we're actually gonna do that.